Here's how we make 30 days worth of content in just 60 minutes or 90 minutes in just a matter of single shoot session. So in today's video, I'm going to actually show you our process or talk about our process, how it actually works for our clients. So this is specifically for our done for you services. However, if you're planning to do your own content, the way you can structure it is allocating 60 to 90 minutes of your time to get in front of the camera and record all your content assets. Hi, my name is Farbod. So for those of you who don't know me, I run a content agency, and on this YouTube channel, I actually help people, essentially help creators to create their own content effortlessly and have a system behind how they do it. So let's actually talk about how creators can use this exact system if you're a completely newbie or a beginner creator, whether you're a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, or essentially anyone that's looking, to create your personal brand content and you don't have a good system behind doing this. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can go about this. So the main thing is actually content writing. So this is where your ideation comes into place. So think of it as the blueprint of, when you want to build a building, you're going to have a plan. And the thing that I noticed with a lot of coaches, creators, we just like the idea of getting in front of the camera without planning. And, usually when we are a creator, so I'm a content agency, so I pre-plan the content for my clients, but when I want to do my own content at times, I just, come up with something and then click record. Whereas the best way to do it is actually planning. So when you plan for your clients, you want to plan for yourself as well. So really take the time to pre-plan all the type of content that actually connects and actually matters to your ideal client profile. Because the way you can structure it is, you have the phase one, which is almost, I would say 60% of your time should be allocated in your content strategy. So meaning you have your ideal client profile online. So who is it specifically? Get clear what stage they're at. So just saying, let's say you work with business owner, just saying business owner, it's not enough. So you want to get really, really specific. Or perhaps you're an agency owner, right? Let's say you're an agency owner. You work with, in this situation, like let's say you're a real estate media agency owner and you want to attract top premium agents in your city. Here's how you can do it. So you want to be very, very specific. You say, okay, so real estate agents in my city, whether that's Toronto or whatever city that you're in. So what type of content do I need to create to attract these people and they view me as an expert, so I can position myself differently in front of them rather than just being, another price shopper agency. So if you're charging premium, let's say $1,000, $2,000 or more for your packages, how can you position yourself in front of those top agents? So this could be applied to any industry that you're in, whether you're a premium, whether you are, you want to get more volume of clients. What do you want people to know you for? And what type of content can you reverse engineer to create so that you position yourself as an expert, as a figure of authority within your space, within your market? So you could be creating a lot of the top of the funnel type of content, which creates awareness. So you essentially, in a way, you're educating, but the way your education is structured, it's just funneling them into your ecosystem that they want to potentially work with you. So something you could do on the top of the funnel type of content that you could be creating is the awareness type of content. You are making people become aware of a pain point that they didn't even know that they had, right? So, and amplifying it in a way that if they don't solve this problem now, there are consequences, okay? There are things. Just educating them that there is a pain point and there is things that they need to do. For example, if we come back to the real estate media agency, something you could do for agents is that rather than just saying, okay, the listing videos, you could create a content around, how this shoot creates a flywheel for these agents, because now they have their branding asset. So they are positioning themselves as an agent in their city that people can like and trust. Okay. So you want to paint that bigger picture, what the service or what you're offering, how it can help them long term, not just in the short term. In a short term, let's say in an agency world, you might get that client for 30 days, but how long that client stay, what is the lifetime value, etc., right? How people will perceive you once they see your brand, what's that trust gonna look like, so the referrals or the affiliates that's gonna come from your existing client, all that sort of thing. So you paint that bigger picture. So now they hear things from your content that they haven't heard before. They hear that they have this problem that they need to solve. Now they look at your testimonials, and you should be creating content around your testimonials. You're doing an interview with your client, you're sharing your client success stories. That could be another content pillars that you can introduce in your content strategy. So essentially, like, you have content pillars. Let's say Instagram and YouTube. Those are the main two that I focus on with my clients. And I suggest you do the same, whether you're a coach, consultant, agency owner, because YouTube is good for having long form content so people can trust you. Even you can put long form VSL, long form educational content, long form client success stories, interview that you have with your clients, things like that. And whereas the short form is just like attention. Okay, so we're in a creators economy and we want to grab people's attention, but how do we retain them? YouTube, right? So and then you want to get into like how you can structure your content pillar and all that sort of stuff. So basically, creating a personal brand is almost like a necessity. So, and you want to look at it as, we used to have this thing with brands. So, the personal brand, you are the picture. Basically, you are the logo of your company. And the crazy part is, even if you pivot, right, you change your industry, you change your offer, you are your own brand. So you can just have your name and that is your personal brand. How crazy is that, right? Whereas let's say you start a company, you name it, and then a year from now, whatever, you decide to, suit your industry, suit your thing, where now you have to start from scratch. And although with creating a personal brand, you might lose some followers when you pivot, however, it's under your name, and it's much more of an easier transition than if you started just the brand. All right, so in terms of how you can actually make your personal brand look like an asset that people can see you online, and you want to also know, like, what do you want to be known for? Ask yourself this question: as a creator, who do you want to be known for? What type of clients that you want to attract? Let's go back into the example I given earlier, but we want to look at it at a different angle, as a different industry. So let's say an agency owner. For me, like, I'm a content agency owner, and I want to give some example to some of the people or niches that I work with, that I speak to. Let's look at someone who does email marketing agency, for example, right? How can they use YouTube and Instagram to win more clients? Okay, so looking at that, you have worked with several clients. Now, the fact that you work with several clients, you have the social proof and the credibility and authority that people, they don't necessarily see. So you could create educational awareness type of content around email marketing, right? How it's able to retain clients, how it's able to, people who opt in their email, opt in their thing, to be, nurtured through SMS and email marketing. And then, some of the results that you have generated for some of your clients, you could just start talking about that. So then you position yourself as an expert in your field, and now people are organically able to find you on YouTube, on Instagram. You can be even running ads and things like that, so which come handy down in the future. Then now let's look at a coach. Okay, so perhaps you're an online personal trainer and you work with a specific niche. You help, let's say, it could be anyone, like helping busy mom or dad, lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds of weight in a specific amount of time, right? So you could create content around that that's of value to these people. So then they see you as someone who can solve their specific problem, and your content actually speaks directly to them. They feel heard, they feel understood. Look at any of big YouTuber or creator. Perhaps you might have already purchased their program. You first follow them on Instagram or YouTube. These sort of like content actually help you to gain trust with them. And when you decided to even join, you didn't even bother about, talking with their sales rep or whatever. You just wanted to buy that thing because there was so much trust already built. So why not take the same principle and apply it in your own brand? So that is the power of building a personal brand, because there are two things I believe. One is gaining people's attention. The second thing is, once you gain these people's attention, how can you win their trust? How can you win the business with them? So when you hop on a call with them, they are like 90% or 100% sold, and they're ready to invest in you because they like you, they see your content, they already build trust with you, and they want to do business with you. And people want to do business with people that they like and trust. And of course, they want to solve their problem, but they're not going to buy from someone who's arrogant, who's not, in alignment in terms of like personality or values. They want to buy from someone they feel comfortable with. They want to buy from someone who, they can go grab a coffee with, go for, do activities with. They want to, connect. As human beings, we like to connect, right? So think of it that way, because I've seen so many agency owners, coaches, consultants, they just focus primarily on going after the cold market, including myself. So I was just, running ads or direct DM and things like that, and just focusing on, book a call, getting leads, although all these things are important, but that's just 1 to 3% of the population or the lead or the funnel that you're getting. People that are opting in or people are seeing your content. What are you going to do with the rest? The 97 or the 99%. How are you going to nurture those people so when the time comes, they'll come and buy, they become your customer? And what are you going to do if you're selling high ticket? What are you going to do with all these other leads that they feel like, what you're selling it might be too much for them? Why not have a low ticket opt-in, low ticket recurring, so they can feel and experience what it's like working with you? And, that's how you can create content. That's how you can diversify a little bit, so that, because it's so much easier for people to buy second time or buy more times from you than a total stranger. So doesn't matter if it's even $97 or $100 low ticket thing. Once they purchase, it's much more easier for them to become a repeat customer than someone, that they never even invest in you, right, in the first place. So think of it that way. So I hope you got some value out of this, and I'll speak to you on the next video.